We're going to approach the garden from a different direction today. It's May the 6th, so it's been about a month since we first had our first video. This is the front of the house, and as you can see, there are all kinds of ferns, and there were some Spanish bluebells, but we have exhausted those at this point in time. Over here is a winter honeysuckle, which blooms in January. It currently has some blooms in it, but that's really from the Montana clematis, which if we walk down here, you can see that it is in spectacular bloom. It is going crazy. In fact, you can see that it had many, many more blooms, and some of them have progressed to the walkway down below. On the right here, you can see a rose glauca. This is a kind of rose that is a rambler, and I've trained it to the wall. It has beautiful burgundy backed leaves that are kind of a gray color. I don't know if you can see those or not. We'll touch it here and see if we can bring it in focus for you. Okay, and the reason I like this particular rose is because it has beautiful rose hips on it after it's bloomed. It has infinitesimal little blooms that are just pink, but the rose hips are burgundy, so against this green wall it looks really, really nice. And at the foot of the rose are these lovely, what they call Japanese painted ferns. There we go, got it in focus for you there. Also, the roses coming up from the bottom too, so we got some growing there. A little bit of columbine here. Let's also back up to this one. This is a lovely little puppy here. Look at those spurs on the back of that. Just gorgeous. Bring it into focus for you here. There you go. Isn't she pretty? Lovely. Then past the clematis, on this side, is another honeysuckle. And the honeysuckle is an evergreen, comes back every year. And then down below it, on the other side of the walkway, this is actually a Mother's Day or May Day azalea, which just blooms its head off every year. Oh, and there's Daddy. Hold on. We're going to pan up and see Daddy. There's Dad. Smile, Dad. Wave. Wave, smile. It's okay. It's an on-again, off-again day. You know, one of those spring days when you've got sunshine part of the time, and then you've got winter. Here's another lovely clematis. They're all over the place now. Look at that little white thing. Isn't that gorgeous? And then let me get around here so you can look at the orange one on this side. Look at that. Isn't that wonderful? Just the most gorgeous little thing. Oh, and we have to have a little look at Grace. This is the puppy next door. Hi, Grace. How you doing, babe? Yeah, she's a sweetheart. And this is another euphorbia. So now what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up going in, past Dad here, to the east garden. So there's my east porch, and Dad's going to close the gate after me. And here's the clerodendron that we saw before, and it is beginning to bud out, as you can see. And down below it are just a mass of daylilies, which next month you will see, and they will be absolutely gorgeous. We have a few little things I want to point out over here. We've got some alums coming up. These in the front will be white, but look at this purple one back here. Isn't that lovely? And then behind it, this really lacy plant here is a meadow rue, and it'll have just a humongous amount of these very light, delicate flowers on it. And they'll just be in big bunches. Look at how it's all budding up here. All of those ends are going to be big. I'm going to pan away here so you can see a little bit better. That rose that I told you about, the one that I said was 4th of July and it was red and white striped, look how it's doing very nicely. And we've got our grasses that are growing up, as well as our lilies back here. And I think if we move down this way, we've got some really nice irises that are coming up down here by the Asian pot. Look at those. Aren't those lovely? Really, really nice. And they grow in a circle. Let's pan back here. You can see. Kind of neat and unusual with a little pot behind it. Oh, and here's some more clematises. These are Daddy's... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm columbines, not clematises. Dad just gave me the what for saying the wrong thing. Columbines, there you go. They're his favorite flower, so he knows the name of that particular flower. And then I'm going to turn around here and show you, slowly,
this thing beside me here.
This thing over here, the euphorbia that Daddy complains about taking all the room up on the walk. And I must admit that it's pretty darned big. But it's my sci-fi plant. I just love that thing. It is so cool. Now let me see if I can find us. Oh, there's some, that's wild bleeding heart behind him there, which is kind of neat. You can't have it. You have to, yeah, I'll get to the white lilac in a minute. But I'm going to show you the fruit here. We have, let's see if I can get this one. Can't see too well in the light here, but I think, can you see? Yeah, there you get it. You can see the fruit that's growing on the tree. Those are plums, and those are the ones that are so juicy that it all just runs down your front practically. And then I'm going to pan over here a little bit. Have some more columbines. Those white flowers there, those are a kind of an alum also. And unfortunately they get carried away, so I have to whack at them occasionally. And then we've got just a sea of my birth flower for May, which is the lovely little lily of the valley. And get down here so we can see them really close. Aren't they pretty? And then back behind those back there, those are coral bells. And believe it or not, the hummingbird just adores those, even though they're so small and they're hard to work with. So, let's see, let's go on around here. These will be really nice irises when they come up. They smell like grape Kool-Aid, and they're called the Pacific Northwest iris. They have that variegated leaf on them. They're really nice. Okay, and let's see. So now we've already seen the lilac down that way. You're looking back toward Dad's vegetable garden there. But we're not going to go that way because the lilac has finished blooming. We're going to go this way, and I'm going to show you the white lilac that is in full bloom and doing nicely and smelling just delish. So there it is. She's beautiful. Isn't she nice? Okay. So we're going to walk on around here. We're going past the apple tree. Pretty soon I'll be able to show you apples growing. And we're going out this way to Dad. His corn did not come up. The squirrels got it all. If you notice, there's little holes there where they dug. Or should I say there's big holes where they dug. So he's got himself a problem there. I think we're going to have to replant. But if we come back this way, we can see that the blueberries are doing their thing in a major, major way. And pretty soon we're going to have the peonies blooming. And they're just huge, huge bushes. Let's see, we'll walk back. Heading back toward the grapes now. Have a look at them and see if we can see any fruit coming on. They're coming out with their leaves just fine. And the grapes will actually be in those little clusters there that you can see at the top. They haven't come out yet, but they probably will be in just a matter of time. And if we turn to the left here, you can see that we cut it back very severely because it had some wilt last year. And then we have the raspberries and Dad's rhubarb. Later on in these beds right here in the front, We'll have some tomatoes, some squash, that sort of thing. And then I want to give you a glimpse at the corkscrew willow, which is right up here, and you can see how much it's grown just in the month since you saw it last, probably a good foot. And you can see back there toward the Moroccan room as well. And we're going to walk around the corner here and have a look. There's Sarah out there waving at us, taking pictures. Okay, she's the one who did all of the wonderful covers for my Farloft books. She's just a wonder. Okay, we're going to turn it off now and get over to the other area. We're going to walk up here and look at the columbines. Look at that sea of purple columbines. They are just gorgeous. I'm going to get down here, I think, and look at one of these up close. They're really phenomenal. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Let me see if I can bring it in focus for you. Look at that. Isn't that? It looks like velvet almost. Okay, and then those are all campanula. They're against the wall. They'll have pink bells on them, all underneath the windows of my living room area, the sunroom. And then as we come around here, there's the bird feeders. But here's the lily bed, and look how much it's grown since we looked at it last time. They're already throwing heads up, so within another, I'd say 2 weeks, it'll be in full bloom. And that's a huge boxwood there. There's some other there's probably 8 or 10 different colors of daylilies in here. They're one of my favorites. Did you know that you actually can eat daylilies? If you eat them raw, sometimes they have an almost spicy taste, and you can also cook them and you can serve them. There's a really nice fern that's opening up here, and then we're coming up on the pond. And we've got some more of the peonies in the back there that are coming up. And that thing that looked like it was butchered, which is the mock orange, it blooms only on new wood. So if we get really close, I will show you that it is full of buds. And all of those are going to be lovely white blooms that are just going to be spectacular and smell delicious. Ferns down here are doing really well down here by the edge of the garden. The Mexican feathergrass that I told you about is coming out in a major way. But then look at the columbine bed here. I'm going to get away from it a little bit so you can see it better. But we'll zoom in on some, like this beautiful yellow one, if I can get the iPad down there far enough. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? And then there's lavender, there's pink, there's white, there's that orange color with the yellow centers. There's a real deep burgundy back against the corner. There's a gorgeous white one right here. Look at this one. Isn't that something? Just perfect. They're so delicate and so... Look at the spurs on the back of that one. That's what you call those things that stick out the back there of the bloom. Those are spurs. And some of them are called Mad Hatties, but some of them are called spurred. And then this one down here. This is a really pretty, kind of a burgundy color with a white face. Very nice. I missed showing you the wisteria, so I backed up a little bit, and we're going to look at it here. You can see that it goes all the way across the trellis to where the peanut feeder is for the squirrel and the blue jay, and then it comes all the way back over here to where it would go up on the roof if we let it, which it used to, but when we put the roof on we took it out. And look at these blooms. If you walk straight ahead and you just keep your head up straight, look, you can walk right through them. Aren't they beautiful? Okay. Spectacular thing on the other side. This is Dr. Rupel. And we've been waiting for him. Let's bring him into focus here so you can see him really good.
More blossoms ready to
He
come
has
out here.
tons of blossoms that go all the way from the top to the bottom.
On the ground.
And on the ground. Yes, on the ground too.
Here's the one. This
But
mountain
he
by
is
itself.
just spectacular.
Look at this.
All by itself out there, huh? Okay, bird bath below us. Lilac up above, which is in full bloom. I don't know if you can see that or not. That one on the other side in the east garden blooms early, and so it's always finished early, but these bloom a little bit later. We have a potentilla down here that's going to bloom soon. It'll be yellow, bright yellow. We've got a lot of that creeping Jenny, which can be pulled out by the handsful if you don't like it. But I like that chartreuse color sometimes.
This is in bloom. This
More of the
tree here.
garden. Daddy's coaching me from a side here. Another honeysuckle there, which blooms really nicely and smells good. And then we've got some ferns down here, and he's still coaching me. Let me turn around. He wants me to show you the mountain ash that has tons of, and there's a rose in a barrel. A ton, okay, yeah, wait a minute, I'm getting there.
Sun alert.
Okay, so going back that way, you can see that the mountain ash is in bloom, possibly. I don't know if you can see that or not.
All of those blooms.
Because we are shooting into the sun. And we'll have blooms and red berries for the birdies. And then I'm going to walk back this way and show you, you didn't see this one before because it was behind us, but this is actually a tree honeysuckle. And I've never heard of one before, but you can see that it's quite large. And it partially shades the Moroccan room. Okay, and I'm going to walk up here and we're going to get close to its little blooms. But it gets really full of blooms and then gives red berries. So this was the back door that I was behind before, but there it is. Oh, and it just smells delicious. We should have smell-o-vision again. And then I'm going to take you back here to look in to the bottom here of what's underneath the willow, the little shade garden. And you can see that it's come alive. Here's another kind of coral bell that's white rather than pink, but it has those chartreuse leaves. You can see how the ferns have just come alive. They're like enormous in there. And Katie at the bottom, and then I'm gonna go back this way a little bit. We've got some more wild bleeding heart here and some real bleeding heart. Well, I don't know about real, but you know, the actual type you find in the nursery. Isn't that pretty? And go from underneath the willow, which, as I reminded you, it's quite tall and it's really come out in its full glory. And if we go all the way around here, we actually come down to the porch swing. I'm going to walk us over here, and we're just going to have a little swing together. We're going to sit down and, oops, sorry, didn't mean to make you dizzy there. Let's sit down, and we're going to look back toward the garden. You can see Sarah hiding behind Dr. Rupel. Well, maybe you couldn't, but she was there for a moment. She's fleeting like the birds. And you can see the wisteria hanging down, and we'll rock here for a minute. And the end of the Moroccan room, that trellis will all come down on Memorial Day, because that's the day we put out all of the nice lawn art and all of the pretty lawn chairs, and we fix up Morocco. And so next month we'll start our tour in Morocco, and you'll be able to see it. I hope you have a really spectacular spring, and I look forward to seeing you in June. Take care.